Hi everyone, welcome to Engineering Immersion. This is the Unity and Leadership webinar. We're gonna wait just a minute or two for all the students to kind of start filtering before we start. Oh, we have a hand raised here. Hi Madison, I see you've raised your hand. Did you have a question? No? Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and lower your hand. And if it is something you want to say, please raise it again. All right, let's begin, everyone. So here we have our Unity and Leadership groups, and let's begin by watching these wonderful videos that they've put so much work into, just to get to know them a little bit more.
Hello, I'm Matthew Gilster, President of ASME, and we're running to be your student organization for this fall. Over the past 6 years, we've built unity in the mechanical engineering community, and we have brought together industry, professors, and students to facilitate your success. To do this, we have organized happy hours, professor dinners, industry panel, component design runoff, and assisted in the ITLL Design Expo. We plan on continuing this success into the fall to create a winning semester for you. We already have numerous events lined up to bring you closer to the engineering community. This includes trivia nights, guest speakers, professor dinners, and virtual happy hours. And we hope that you will join us in this vision to create a more prosperous engineering community. I'm Matthew Gilster, and I approve this message.
STEMRoots is a student organization founded and run by first-generation and traditionally underrepresented graduate students who are dedicated to aiding underserved undergraduates in achieving their STEM career. As minorities ourselves, we faced unique challenges in our pursuit of access to research opportunities, be it systemic discrimination, lack of information or opportunities, even poor mentorship, or not asking the right questions. So we formed STEM Roots to address these challenges, pass on lessons learned, and equip the next generation of students in their academic pursuit. We're here to make inclusive excellence a reality at CU. Our program has 3 pillars: community, education, and mentorship.
We at STEM Routes understand the importance of a community of support in creating an environment where members can succeed in STEM. Our community events are designed to connect students at every level of their STEM career path. We enjoy spending time and learning from each other. Come hang out with us.
Sometimes we just don't know where to start or what opportunities exist for us in STEM. Our workshops are here to help. Our workshop series includes advice on applying to graduate school, finding research opportunities, developing scientific communication skills, just to name a few. Things are really different this year, but your STEM career doesn't know that. Whether you're trying to conquer the GRE or deciding between a master's or PhD, come learn with us.
We have all benefited or can all benefit from strong mentorship. Having someone in your corner who understands your challenges can make an incredible difference in your STEM career. Our mentorship program hopes to engage, guide, and support you throughout your time here at CU. Come serve with us.
I'm an engineer.
I am a molecular biologist.
I am a behavioral neuroscientist.
I'm a mechanical engineer.
I'm an aerospace engineer.
I'm a biological engineer. We are STEM Roots.
We are the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers, also known as SACE, a student organization here at CU Boulder.
SACE is dedicated to helping future scientists and engineers of Asian heritage reach their full potential.
We are supporting students with professional development, cultural celebration, academic excellence, and community service.
SACE has led several student events, including the Spicy Ramen Challenge, Lunar New Year, and the West Mountain Regional Conference.
This fall semester, we're going virtual.
Join us online for our events, including the annual SACE National Conference, a virtual watch party, a resume and mock interview workshop, and so much more.
Find a great community with SACE this fall.
Check out our panel at Engineering Immersion for more information.
We hope to see you soon at one of our virtual events.
At CU Boulder, we are focused on building an inclusive community of strong female engineers
and other minorities, while remaining open to all who support these groups in STEM.
Our goal is to establish a secure and substantial support system for the collegiate to professional transition.
By giving back through these various outreach programs,
furthering opportunities for our members,
and cultivating a strong network within the CU community.
I got my internship through SWE, and I'm super grateful for that, and so it's been an amazing way to get into the engineering world and to meet professionals.
I joined SWE because it allows women to come together and share their passions in engineering. The concept of a female engineer is a relatively new one, and it's quite inspiring to see everyone come together in this community in order to support each other.
My favorite part about SWE is when our section travels to the regional and national conferences every year. It's a great opportunity to network, learn from speakers, and bond with all the SWE members.
University of Colorado Engineering Council works for the effective allocation
of engineering student organizations, initiatives, and ideas.
We commit ourselves to enriching the education of students outside the classroom,
while also enabling students to better our community.
We serve as an open avenue of communication
between students, student governments, and the administration,
working to always represent the interests of all engineering students.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us in forging a
better, brighter,
and bolder community.
Alrighty. So let's begin by having everyone introduce themselves by name, major, year, and the student organization you are representing.
I guess I'm at the top of the list, so I can go ahead and start. Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm going into my junior year in mechanical engineering, and I'm representing ASME, or the American Society of Mechanical Engineers.
I think my video followed yours, so I'll step up. My name is Dana Stamo. I am going into my second year of graduate school. I'm getting my PhD in biological engineering, and I represent the student organization STEM Roots.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I am a fourth year studying chem bioengineering, and I'm representing the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers.
Hi, I'm Samiha. I'm a sophomore studying environmental engineering, and I'm representing Society of Women Engineers, or SWE.
And I am JD. I am a senior in computer science here at CU Boulder, and I represent the University of Colorado Engineering Council.
Alrighty, so let's start off with what is the commitment level of your organization, and are there any requirements to join?
So here at ASME, we really have two levels of commitment. So first level would just be showing up and participating in our events, and that is as often or whenever you want to come. Those events are roughly every 2 to 3 weeks. And then if you decide that you really like the organization, you want to help participate and plan these events, we do have officer positions, and those meet every week and about 1 hour each week.
I actually love talking about this because this is like STEM Roots' thing, is that we are trying to eliminate barriers to STEM career pathways for students who are low income, first generation, or traditionally underrepresented in their field. And so one of the ways that we do that is by eliminating hierarchy and eliminating membership requirements. We are here to serve you, and we're here to support you and meet you from wherever you're at. So we exist to create content. If you want to get involved with us at a deeper level, feel free. If you want to peruse our website for tips, your involvement can stop there, but you can always email us, reach out if you have questions. We require nothing of you. We just want to serve as the mentors we wish we had.
For SACE, we meet bi-weekly, and our first meeting is starting on September 1st, and it's from 6 to 7 p.m. every other week. Our membership requirements are not really strict. We just require our members to participate in one of our cultural events that we host each semester, and then one professional development meeting, just so that we could have like active members, so that we could report it to our other society that we report to.
Yeah, for SWE, it's kind of entirely up to you how much commitment you want to be involved in. We do have requirements for active membership, kind of like SACE, because we also do report to a different society. So if you want to be considered an active member, you must attend 2 Totally Tuesdays, 1 outreach, and 1 professional development event each semester. And I'll get into that a little bit later, like what each of those things mean. But you are not expected to be an active member. Anyone is welcome to the meetings. And if you're looking for some more involvement, you can also apply to be an officer, or you can even get some involvement at the national level. We are part of the national SWE organization, so you can go ahead and register as a national member as well.
JD, I think you're on mute.
Hi, I'm still on mute. Okay. Our commitment levels at the Engineering Council are very flexible. It really depends on the area of interest that you're really dedicated to. Hosting events are obviously going to be a little bit more involved, just as it comes down to the planning day of and day before. But many of our committees meet once or twice a month, or even fewer than that. We are really flexible in terms of your schedule and in terms of your commitment level. It really is just about getting everyone involved the best that we can.
All right, and I'm sure the biggest question of the semester will be, how are you guys going to structure your meetings this semester due to the pandemic?
So we at ASME are basically taking all of our events and just switching them over to more of a virtual event. So typically we have an in-person industry panel. We're going to switch that and do a virtual industry panel, a whole bunch of other things like virtual happy hours. But we are adding a couple of other things such as like a trivia night. So we haven't done anything like that before until we started having quarantine during the spring semester, and we started adding those in. People seem to really enjoy them, so we're continuing those this semester. But as for our officer meetings, those are going to be continuing on Zoom. I'm guessing like plenty of other officer meetings for plenty of other clubs. So yeah.
So generally we're divided into like the team that plans everything, and then like the people who like consume the content, right? So if you want to get involved with us in planning and creating content, we need graphic designers, we need people who are passionate about diversity in STEM. Come hang out with us. We meet once a week, and we're currently deciding on the time again. So if you want to have a vote in when we're going to meet, please drop us an email at stem_roots@colorado.edu. They're all virtual now because yes, we could have them in person if there are few enough people, but I think that would be irresponsible. So we're still doing them virtually right now. In terms of the content that we would normally offer, we would generally offer workshops for undergraduates to sort of give you the skills that you need to prepare you for the next step in your STEM career. Those are all going to be virtual. And we're also working on a massive arsenal of Instagram and YouTube resources so you can quickly digest information about how to prepare in your professional development, and also how to conduct research remotely as you try to get that research experience when you're not physically allowed in labs anymore. All of this information is on our website, and I can share that in the chat.
Similar to the other student organizations, SACE is also going virtual this year. Some of our events that we have upcoming this semester are like professional development nights. So last year we had a LinkedIn and resume review before we went to our national conference, and we're going to be doing the same thing this year. And then we're also hosting a lot of game nights and like movie nights. So we usually host an anime night every year, at least once a semester. So we are planning on doing that again this year, just so that we could keep it up with our other like usual meetings that we would typically have if we were in person.
SWE is also going virtual this year. We will continue to have our weekly Totally Tuesday meetings, and those ones are kind of more just like fun, laid back. It's sometimes we have professional developments during those meetings, but a lot of times it's just like we'll do virtual yoga where we'll all just get on Zoom together and do yoga. Or we've also done events in the past where we write letters to single moms during the holiday season. So those are kind of like more fun, laid back activities. But because we are virtual and we know that the class schedules have also changed because of that, and not everyone will be able to attend those events, we're hoping to actually add more virtual events. We're trying to keep it to at least a minimum of 2 a week, if not more, just so that everyone who wants to be involved can get involved with SWE.
Yeah, and rounding out with the other organizations as well. UCEC, all of our officer and committee meetings are going to be virtual this year. Typically, officer meetings are held every other week, with committee meetings being either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Many of our events this year, engineering immersion, obviously being one of them, has been moved virtual, which has been a fantastic success. Thank you to Amy and everyone else involved with that. Many of our other, regularly scheduled events, such as tabling events, community nights, stuff like that, will continue to be held virtually, with various other ways for everyone to get involved and to feel, interested in the community here at CU Boulder. Many of our regional and national events. So the Engineering Council this year is host to our Western Regional Conference. We are holding that virtually in October. And I would imagine that our national conference would be held virtually as well in the spring. So anyone that would be interested in registering and being a part of UCEC to see those conferences could easily do so from home.
Alrighty. So speaking of virtual events, we have a student here asking, will national conferences for a few of the different clubs be virtual?
Yeah, so STEM Roots represents the national organization SACNAS. SACNAS stands for the Society for the Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans in Science. That conference is virtual. It is in October. Nevertheless, they are still charging a very steep, upwards of $150 attendance fee. I'm so sorry about this, given the demographics that they serve. You'd think that they would lower that price, but no. So if you need support with this, please reach out to us and we can look to our resources to help you get this fee covered so you can engage with this national conference virtually.
So ASME, go ahead, Caitlin.
Okay, thank you. So SACE's national conference is also in October and it's also virtual, but SACE's national conference lasts over a month. So it's a month worth of workshops. So I think the first weekend is SACE Hack. So it's like a hackathon with all the SACE members across the whole nation. And then the second week is the collegiate workshops. So basically professional development workshops, how to build like yourself as a person and stuff like that for those 2 days. And then the week after that is the virtual career fair. And I am working with our treasurer to see if we can provide free admission or free registration for all of our SACE members this fall, because it doesn't look like the pricing of that is too expensive. So I think we are going to be able to provide our members free registration for the national conference.
So ASME doesn't exactly have a national conference, but they do have regional conferences. And the region that we're in, our conference would be kind of early April timeframe. So at the moment, they're not fully sure whether they're going to do in-person or virtual. They're trying to get it in person if at all possible, but if not, it's going to be virtual. And unfortunately, I don't have enough of the information about everything that's going to go on around that. So, yeah.
SWE's national conference is the first week of November. And up until a few weeks ago, it was supposed to be a hybrid model, but it has now been shifted completely online. So we are hoping that since we had travel as part of our budget, we can use that money and kind of reallocate it to have more people involved in the national conference. But we don't have the numbers on that quite yet, but we do have that national conference coming up at the beginning of November.
So yeah, Engineering Council is a member of the National Association of Engineering Student Councils. And for the fall of 2020, we are hosting our Western Regional Conference virtually. So that'll be, many of the events that we are featuring will be free for CU students, including industry tours and the such. Our national conference, which will be in March, is planned to be completely virtual. And I don't know off the top of my head which host school that is, but we will be looking at that when the time gets closer.
Awesome. Nice to know that we still have stuff going on, even though we're so far apart from each other. So here we have a question for kind of, oh, I lost it for a moment. STEM routes and SWE. What's the main difference between who you guys are targeting as recruits?
I can go first. STEM Roots is a bunch of graduate students. We are all from groups that are low income, first generation, or underrepresented in our field. So we came together to sort of put resources and mentorship programs and a community together for undergraduates who are having a similar experience as we did in navigating their STEM career. So if you are in any STEM career, it doesn't even need to be engineering. If you decide to switch later or you're still deciding, we serve you and your path through STEM. We want to help you make your STEM career a reality. Because we're graduate students, this is what we know the most about is the graduate school application process and sort of navigating systemic barriers within that process. But there are also graduate students among us, and we're also teaming up with faculty who have industry connections, so we can support you in that area as well. But fundamentally, our main goal is to help undergrads get research experiences, because no matter what you want to do after you graduate from undergrad, a research experience is going to help you in your STEM career. And given that, there's still a massive amount of barriers, even with programs that fund research like Europe and BSI. So we're sort of here to help you navigate those barriers and help you advance your STEM career as early as possible.
And as far as SWE goes, we are kind of a more holistic approach. Professional development is definitely a part of what we do, and we love having people coming in and talking about networking, and we have representatives from companies who come and kind of give advice on how to get into the professional world. But that is not all we do. We also have outreach where we'll connect with either like elementary, middle schools, high schools in the area. We do a lot of work with Girl Scouts, and we just try to give back to the community and encourage young girls to get involved in STEM that way. We also have our Totally Tuesday events, which are more like it's meant to be more fun, laid back. It's kind of just to build community and get to know other women in engineering. We are not limited to just women. We are open to anyone who supports these groups, but we wanted to be able to create an environment where women who can typically be underrepresented in engineering can kind of come together and support each other and kind of reach their own career goals that way.
Okay, moving on. How do your organizations help students develop technical or professional skills?
So ASME, we lean further away from the technical skills and more towards that professional development skills. So our whole thing is connecting students to industry and students to other members in the mechanical engineering department. So it's mainly just interacting with others within the industry. The more time you can talk to people about what they do, what advice that they have, mistakes that they've made going through their life, is more that you can learn for your path moving forward.
So we offer workshops that train you on a specific skill necessary for generally applying to graduate school, but also managing your time as an undergraduate and finding research opportunities throughout your undergraduate as well. In addition to that, we provide mentorship beyond just the mentorship for your sort of scientific field, but we provide culturally competent mentorship to teach you how to thrive on a predominantly white campus. And help you overcome existing barriers that we've recognized throughout existing programs on this campus. In addition to that, I mentioned our YouTube and Instagram, which are generally trying to put together sort of quick to digest resources to help prepare you for sort of the changing landscape of research in academia as it appears now.
Just like the ASME society, we also focus mainly on professional development at SACE. So what that looks like is sometimes we have companies come in and talk to us about their work and like what they do, just to see like if our members are interested in, they could ask more questions about industry so that they could have like a real answer what the industry looks like if for their specific major. We also do like mock interviews, so just in case like we go to a national conference or a regional conference, our members are prepared if we go. But yeah, that's mainly what we focus on, like professional development.
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything at SWE. Our main thing that we try to have very often are speakers from companies, and the presentations that they have can be very open-ended. We give them a lot of freedom with that. So depending on which speakers we have, sometimes they will just share information about how they got to the place they are in their career. Some of them will give tips on resume writing or cover letters. We've even had some speakers who come and give lessons on how to negotiate for salaries. We don't do very many workshops, but that is something we're considering doing more now that we are in a virtual setting and we can have smaller groups like in the breakout rooms in Zoom. Part of the reason we didn't do as many workshops is because SWE works very closely with the Bold Center, and the Bold Center has a lot of the smaller workshops that they do on their own. But we do try to bring in a variety of different speakers so that it's not just you being talked at by, say, someone who is in computer science. We really do want to try to cater to all interests, and we give the speakers a lot of freedom to kind of bring their own twist on whatever they'd like to say.
Yeah, with Engineering Council, you have a broad range of options when it comes to professional development. By attending a lot of the conferences, you're not only going to deal with other students in leadership positions at other universities on the West Coast and across the nation, but you're also going to have the opportunity to talk to many other, organizations, companies, and recruiters that we work with, be it in our career fairs or the conferences themselves, or many of the other activities that we host over the course of the year. So no matter if you're attending the events, if you're hosting them, you're going to have an ample opportunity to develop a lot of professional skills. In some of the roles in Engineering Council, you also have the opportunity to develop a lot of technical skill. A lot of our graphics and messaging is done in the council, and so you'd be learning a lot of such as like Adobe Creative Cloud, be it Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere, a lot of skills that you wouldn't necessarily learn in the classroom, even if you're not a computer science major, which is fantastic. But primarily, we're going to work towards professional development, getting you involved in not only the community, but the workforce, in pretty much every major. We try to be pretty diverse in the people that we talk to, and the people that we host, and the people that we work with.
All right. Do you guys have a lot of connections in industries to help students with internships and employment?
So the answer is yes from ASME, but so our biggest thing is if there's an industry that you want to go in, we probably have a connection there for you. So we brought in people from aerospace, from HVAC, from research, from renewable energy, all sorts of things, even within the past year. So odds are this coming year, we don't have a solidified list of who all we bring in to talk to students, but we will have anybody that you would like.
So STEM Roots is housed within a office called the Colorado Diversity Initiative. Colorado Diversity Initiative, or CDI, also hosts a summer research experience for undergraduates program called SMART. So every year we bring in undergraduates from all around the country, and they come and they study over the summer at CU. They're mentored by our graduate students, and this program has been going on for 15 plus years. So we have people who have engaged with our community, and we're now linking back up with them, and they have incredible positions at Ball Aerospace, or they're doctors in Denver. And so we have this brilliant network of students who are themselves underrepresented in their field, who can come back, vouch for you, mentor you as you're going through your undergraduate field. In addition to that, we're preparing you through our own mentorship and guidance and workshops to prepare for that further industry field, further graduate study that you're willing to pursue. So we're giving you sort of the networking skills that you need to excel beyond your undergraduate, but all of that work needs to be done before you graduate, not just crammed into the fourth year. So we're here to give you that guidance from year one and start sort of setting everything in order so that you can pursue your STEM path as smoothly as possible.
So just like SWE, SACE is also part of the BOLD student organizations. So basically BOLD has a lot of connections to a lot of different industries that we're partnered with. So like, for example, Ball Aerospace is one of like BOLD's connections, and also the CU Boulder chapter, SACE CU Boulder chapter, sorry. We hosted the West Mountain Regional Conference this past spring before everything shut down. So we have a lot of company connections because a lot of different companies came out, like the CIA and Seagate. They came out and supported our regional conference. So we have a lot of different connections with them, and we're hoping to work with them more this year too. I know a lot of companies from the conference reached out to us this year and they were interested in participating in our meetings this semester. So I know Excel reached out to us because they want to have a meeting with us this semester too. So SACE is very involved with the industry, and we have a lot of connections through Bold and just through the SACE community.
Yeah, SWE is very similar to that. We do have connections through the Bold Center, and given the fact that we're part of such a huge national organization, we do have a lot of industry connections through them as well. We do send a group to the national conference every year, so you definitely have a good chance of getting involved in meeting people that way. And like I said earlier, we're really fond of having speakers from companies come and talk to us. Some past examples are like we've had people from Chevron, Western Digital, Seagate, even Staples, and one thing we're really big about is like having an open communication with the officers. So if there's something you're not seeing or you want us to kind of focus on a different industry, or you feel like you're not really seeing any opportunities for yourself, like definitely reach out to the officer team, because we're very fluid. We try to get in as many different interests as we can. And we love hearing from the members and trying to kind of tailor our plans to what the members are saying.
So yeah, for Engineering Council, we have a pretty diverse and broad set of industries that we work with as part of our events, whether it's hosting computer science specific events, mechanical engineering, or some of the chemical engineering companies that you're going to see. Quite a few of them will get involved in either one or multiple events during the course of the year. I know Ball, for instance, has always been really involved in Engineering Week, a few other companies as well during that time. A lot of our work with corporations is going to take place similarly around career fairs. I know internships have come up at some point, and I can confidently say that at least one internship for our officer team was a direct result of working with Medtronic for the fall career fair last year and the work that we did with them. So through the connections that you're going to make here working in Engineering Council, it's going to open you up to a broad number of opportunities that may result in an internship, which is absolutely awesome.
So here another student is extremely interested in networking, especially networking opportunities for students outside of Boulder.
So traditionally, ASME is focused specifically in the general Boulder area. I guess that makes sense because we're mostly doing live events. So people that would be participating would be ones that are showing up from the area. However, we do have a number of connections from California and Texas, surprisingly, but also general Colorado area, as well as West Coast. And we plan on bringing in more of those connections as we do now have the availability to work them into what we're doing.
So we could probably offer some support in terms of helping you find networking opportunities in your area and sort of helping you draft the emails and sort of proofread your applications. But in terms of your own area, we could communicate with professors and graduate students in schools in your area, and we can help coach you on doing remote research projects regardless of what university you're associated with in a research project. So in that way, we can sort of coach you and offer our expertise in terms of how to build connections with professors and sort of initiate that first cold email contact with someone that you're wanting to connect with better. One thing that we're really strong advocates of are informational interviews. So this is when you reach out to someone and you're like, no, I'm not asking for anything. I just want to know about what you do. And in that way, it's a really efficient way to not only learn more about a field or a sector of work that you're interested in, but this is also a really easy way to get your foot in the door because people love talking about what they do. So they'll almost never tell you no, and then they get to know you. And if they like you and you hit it off, it's a lot easier to ask for positions and opportunities that way, rather than just a cold email saying, I'm looking for an internship. So we're happy to help you draft those emails, make those connections, and sort of navigate that landscape once you get there.
Sorry, Amy, can you repeat the question? I heard half of it.
No worries. Do you offer any networking opportunities for students outside of CU or outside of Boulder?
Okay, thank you. So SACE does offer networking outside of CU Boulder. Like I mentioned before, like the national conference, that was a great way for like our members to get involved with people outside of Boulder. I know when I went to the national conference last year, I made so many new connections all throughout the US, and some people even like came from Korea because they were like an international student. And so I met like the president of another SACE chapter from Villanova, so that was pretty neat. And basically like a lot of other SACE chapters at the conference we were able to connect with, and we built like a stronger relationship with, and we even got the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Some of their SACE members came to our regional conference last year, so that was pretty neat. But yeah, basically, nationally, SACE is very connected with each other.
SWE also does have that national connection again. It is one of the larger student organizations, and there is like a huge network across the country and across the world. So there's definitely bigger connections there. We also do really emphasize like company connections, and a lot of the companies we'll bring in are not just centered in Boulder, they are bigger companies. So you can find, even if you're not working with just the one company, you can often find positions outside of Boulder. And another thing we really try to focus on is like when we do have those speakers come in, we leave it open to them for what they want to talk about, but we do ask them to make it relevant to everyone. So we have like, we will have people talking about resume building, or we'll have people talking about salary negotiations, just so that even if none of the companies that that come in and talk, or that you find during our events, have positions outside of Boulders, you have the skills to go out and potentially get a job or an internship with people outside of Boulder, just from the skills that you learned by being in SWE.
Yeah, one of the silver linings of most of our events being virtual this year is that it makes them available to everyone, whether you live inside of Boulder or outside of the city limits. You're going to have the opportunity to connect with, the vast majority of the companies and industries that we work with. And beyond that, if you're interested in the Denver metro area or anywhere else, being a member of the National Association of Engineering Student Councils, we work with 60 other universities here in the United States, and then partners with Canada and Europe to provide innovative and productive experiences to not only network with companies as far as Pittsburgh or Seattle, but communicate and network with students that are graduating, have graduated, and are alumni of the universities across the country. So if you're interested in networking with those individuals or companies, we have ample opportunities to get involved both in our university, outside of the city of Boulder, and outside of the state. Pretty much anywhere that you'd want to go, we have an opportunity to connect you with somebody.
All right, bringing the conversation back to Boulder, how are your organizations making an impact even at the university or the surrounding community?
So for ASME, ours is about bringing our Department of Mechanical Engineering together. So we've done so many events to kind of facilitate those conversations between people who are in different parts of the department, people who wouldn't normally interact with each other, but do have the commonality of mechanical engineering. So we have, again, trivia nights, happy hours, professor dinners to talk to professors about what they do and what it's like for their work, a whole bunch of stuff like that.
So in our community, we have a lot of people who come from very diverse places. We have a lot of people who come from Southern Florida, Puerto Rico, California, and they come to Boulder and they say that they experience a massive amount of culture shock when they see that the campus is predominantly white, and they sort of struggle in finding how they fit in to the wider campus network. And so one of the key ways that we serve this community is by providing a space for students who grew up in very diverse places to sort of be themselves and connect with a community that represents the place that they grew up a little bit more accurately. In addition to that, one of the big programs that we're working on right now for serving undergraduates at CU is we've identified a number of barriers that continue to exist for finding undergraduate research opportunities. So things like inflexible timelines, lack of funding, lack of culturally competent mentorship. We've looked at all of these facets, and we're developing a research program that takes into account that not everyone is at the level necessary to apply to these very competitive undergraduate research funding grants. In order to apply to this grant and earn this grant, you have to be really good at scientific communication. You have to already have a connection in a lab, and you have to be willing a lot of the times to work without funding. And so we're creating a program that asks faculty to pledge guaranteed funding for 24 weeks for students to do research in their lab, and built into that research is a training period, so that if you don't have prerequisite skills like coding or other lab techniques, you learn that during the first 8 weeks, and then you have an opportunity to conduct that research and then have the experience that makes you a competitive applicant for undergraduate research funding in the future. So if you're interested in participating in sort of our pilot program of this, you can check out our website for more information.
So SACE, we like to embrace like our Asian heritage. Even we also welcome people who are not Asian heritage. But we like to embrace like our culture, so therefore like we have all those cultural events that we have, and also to help like the Boulder community around us, we often do volunteering events. So because it's one of our pillars of SACE. So the volunteering events that we did last year, we did Generation Exchange, where we went to go help people, older people with their technology. So like if they didn't know how to use an iPhone, then we would go in like as their mentor, and we basically help them like how to use like their iPhone or their computers, or just some of them just ask like, teach me how to take a screenshot and stuff like that. And then we also did PB and Lovin' at the church that's right next to campus. So we made a bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we delivered them to the homeless people on Pearl Street. So basically we like being involved with our Asian culture and also helping the community around us.
Yeah, one of the big events that we really emphasize is in outreach. So we do have actually 2 separate officer positions, one for elementary school outreach and one for middle and high school outreach. So we do coordinate with a lot of the local schools in the area to kind of get those students involved in STEM. And we also do coordinate with Girl Scouts. That's been a huge part of our organization for a while now. So our main interaction with people outside of just the university is that outreach part, which we tend to focus on younger girls, trying to get them interested and involved in STEM careers.
Yeah, so Engineering Council tries to be really involved with the community by hosting a variety of events, not only for engineering students, but for engineering organizations. For example, this event. Engineering Immersion, Engineering Week, and many of the other events that we host over the course of the year really try to serve not only the organizations that are members of the Center for Student Involvement, CUSG, and all the other funding boards, but the CU Boulder community at large. Trying to get people involved, connected with organizations and other students that'll help them succeed both professionally and technically, and try to be present wherever we can be to help the students at large.
We also throw very fun events too, so
that is true.
Keep an eye out for those. All right, so we have a student here asking if any of your organizations provide any computer science specific companies, benefits, or events.
There's not a company that I can think of off the top of my head that has been computer science specific that we brought in over the past year or so. However, almost every single company that we've talked to does have some sort of computer science involved in what they do. So that could be an opportunity for you. But again, going back to what I was mentioning before, is if there's something that you'd like, we'd be happy to work with you with it. So we could certainly look into doing more stuff with computer science specific work.
So like I mentioned earlier, we have graduate student mentors from all sorts of STEM departments, including computer science. So we can connect you with someone who is working on research in the field that you're interested in. You can sort of see what that field looks like at the grad level versus the undergrad level, which is sort of a valuable discrepancy to determine if it's something that you want to pursue into research. Additionally, graduate research is phenomenally interdisciplinary. So I'm in biological engineering and I still have to learn Python to model what my experiments are doing. So you can find a lot of opportunities to apply your computer science work and get coached by someone who may not necessarily be in the comp sci department, but knows languages and knows the application of languages to research that deviates from that field specifically. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can communicate with some of our mentors that are working with different coding languages and get you involved in supporting that research.
Yeah, so SACE is similar to ASME. We typically ask our members what companies they would like to see more of. So if there's more computer science people who want computer science companies to come in, I know last year we were working on setting up a Google tour of the facility in Boulder, but due to COVID, everything got canceled and postponed. So we didn't really get the opportunity to do that for SACE. But yeah, it's mostly based on how many members that want to have computer science companies come in, then that's what we will provide for them.
I would say it's very similar at SWE. We do try to provide a variety of different fields of study for our members. So we would love your feedback. If there is a huge interest in computer science, we will definitely try to get more computer science people in. And our speakers, they come from a variety of different companies, but some of them did get their degrees in computer science or studied that at some point. So it can kind of vary depending on the particular speaker. But if that's something you're interested in, definitely reach out to the office of board and we will work on getting more computer science events in the schedule.
Yeah, UCEC has always had a pretty large contingent of computer science majors, such as myself, hi. And while we don't usually provide any specific companies or benefits to computer science majors, we do continuously work with many computer science companies for a variety of events, as well as working to help other organizations who do focus more on computer science than ourselves. We don't try to focus on any particular major because we represent all majors here at the engineering school, but you'd be sure to find events either through us or through any of the other student organizations that we work with that would be able to, orient towards computer science.
All right, so from a student here, we have, what do you like most about your society or group and what made you join?
So big thing with ASME for me was that while it is all professional development, there's kind of different levels of it. So you have actual professionalism type stuff where you're going and talking to people in industry, and then there's more of like a social aspect to it. So you can meet people in the department, meet professors, and interact with them more in a social environment as opposed to more of a professional environment. And I really liked having that diversity right in there.
So I actually did my undergraduate at the University of Colorado Boulder as well. So I got to see what it was like to be an undergrad here with all of the opportunities that are available. And despite that, I still didn't feel like I didn't feel like there was guidance or there was support first generation and underrepresented students, right? I had no idea what I wanted to do after I graduated, and I really struggled finding research positions on campus. And I thought there was something wrong with me until I spoke to another graduate student of color who was like, nope, nobody told me either. I had to take a gap year unexpectedly because I couldn't get into any PhD programs. And it turns out there is a whole group of graduate students who struggled to get into their position because of all of the unspoken rules surrounding the graduate school experience and sort of what do you do during your undergrad to prepare for your STEM career beyond that. And so all of us actually helped found STEM Roots. So it's not like I joined it. I was like, there's a problem here. I want to fix it. And so all of us came together and we sort of developed a program that we wish we had when we were undergrads. And we're using ourselves and the undergrads we interact with to develop that experience further and make sure that we're actually providing information that people need, the information that you don't know to ask your advisor about or that people don't tell you explicitly. So we're here telling you explicitly exactly what you need to do to excel in STEM.
So I joined SACE my freshman year of college, and I joined because I like the idea of having people of similar backgrounds who I do have the same major and interests, so society or scientists and engineers. So I basically joined my freshman year and I was unsure about it, but I really liked it because of the community it brought. So I've been actively participating in SACE for all 4 years of my college career. I've been on the board for 3 years. I've been at CU. I just really like the community. And yeah, I think that's why I've joined since the beginning.
Yeah, I would say I just joined it because everyone else was, or at least it seemed like everyone else was. I saw the SWE booth at Engineering Immersion last year when everyone was outside tabling. I heard people talking about it. My roommate asked me if I was going to go to the meeting, so I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And I just went and joined. And I wasn't super involved with it at first, but once I realized like just how much SWE offers, I just fell in love with it. I don't think I fully realized how much there is to the organization until I actually joined the officer board. But it really is like, it is a big organization, but there really is something for everyone. You get to meet so many different people, like other than just the people you have classes with. You learn a lot. You get a ton of like experience in professional development. I would say the skills that I learned from the events we had in SWE definitely helped me when I was applying for internships over the summer. But it also had that aspect of being fun, laid back, just taking a break from classes for a while. So I just thought it was a really good mix of work and also just fun and relaxing.
The reason why I joined Engineering Council my freshman year was kind of the breadth and scope that we could do within the organization. We not only work with the organizations within the College of Engineering, we work with CU student government and many of the other boards that are a part of it. We work with the Dean's office through EDAB and some of the other initiatives that we have with them. There's so much that you can do in Engineering Council that it's incredibly fun. I have not done the same thing 2 years in a row. I currently serve as the president, but I was originally the director of graphics and messaging. There's so much that you can do in Engineering Council that I've always kind of been able to stay engaged and find new things that I find interesting and want to do. What I like the most about it is that everyone is kind of special in their own way. I consider so many of them my personal friends because it's such a close-knit community. Even people that have graduated from it, I still go camping with them on the weekends because UCEC, you're kind of in it together. So you really develop some close-knit bonds that I just really haven't found anywhere else, and I couldn't even say that that my classes have forged stronger bonds. That's why I like Engineering Council so much personally.
Sorry, I was on mute again. It was so wonderful to hear all of your experiences and all those stories. We are getting very close to time here, actually. We should be done by now. But I want everybody to drop their first meeting information into the chat for our attendees, please. And I encourage our attendees to save the chat of this webinar so you can retain the information that was in the chat beyond this webinar. I've also threw out the link out there a few times for a sign-up sheet for anyone who is interested in joining any one of these wonderful organizations. And for those interested in the raffle, we will be announcing raffle winners probably sometime next week after all the webinars have been done.
Thank you, Amy, for organizing everything.
Of course. All right, did we all get that information into the chat? Okay, perfect. Then I will go ahead and start a countdown to the end of this webinar. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! And that concludes this engineering immersion webinar. I hope to see you guys at the next one. Bye.